The Enchanted Glade, a tale of renewal and wonder. Chapter 1: The Weary Traveler. In the heart of the whispering forest, where ancient trees stood sentinel and the very air shimmered with magic, there lay a hidden sanctuary known only to a fortunate few. This place, the Enchanted Glade, was a realm where reality and dreams intertwined, where the burdens of the world melted away like morning mist, and where weary souls could find respite from their troubles. On this particular night, as the moon hung full and luminous in the velvet sky, casting its silver light through the canopy of leaves, a lone traveler named Elara stumbled upon this secret haven. Her journey had been long and arduous, filled with challenges that had tested her resolve and drained her spirit. Elara's once bright eyes now held a weariness that spoke of sleepless nights and heavy burdens, while her shoulders sagged under the weight of unseen troubles. For days, she had wandered through the whispering forest, guided only by an inexplicable pull that seemed to tug at her very soul. The forest itself was a marvel, with trees that towered so high their tops were lost in the clouds, their trunks wider than the span of 10 people's arms. As Elara walked, she could have sworn she heard whispers carried on the breeze, fragments of ancient songs and long-forgotten tales that spoke of magic and wonder. It was just as the moon reached its zenith that Elara pushed through a curtain of silvery vines and found herself standing at the edge of the Enchanted Glade. The moment her feet touched the soft grass within, a profound change came over her. It was as if a great weight had been lifted from her shoulders, and she could breathe deeply for the first time in years. The glade spread out before her, a vision of otherworldly beauty that took her breath away. Soft, diffused light emanated from every corner, cast by bioluminescent flowers that dotted the landscape in clusters of blue, purple, and gentle white. These dream blossoms, as she would later learn they were called, swayed gently in a breeze she couldn't feel, their petals releasing a fine, shimmering mist that hung in the air like stardust. A melodious babbling drew Elara's attention to a stream that wound its way through the glade. Its waters were crystal clear, reflecting the starry sky above and seeming to glow with an inner light of their own. As it flowed, it created a soothing symphony that blended perfectly with the rustling leaves and the soft whispers of the forest beyond. Elara's gaze was drawn to the center of the glade, where a majestic willow tree stood. Its trunk was wide and gnarled, speaking of countless years of growth and wisdom. Long, graceful branches draped down to create a natural pavilion, their leaves shimmering with tiny points of light that danced and twinkled like earthbound stars. Drawn by an irresistible urge, Elara made her way towards the willow. As she walked, she noticed that the grass beneath her feet was impossibly soft, each step feeling like she was walking on the most luxurious carpet. The very air seemed to caress her skin, warm and comforting, carrying with it a scent that reminded her of summer evenings and childhood dreams. Reaching the willow, Elara parted the curtain of leaves and stepped inside. The space beneath the tree was even more magical than the glade itself. The ground was covered in a thick carpet of the softest moss she had ever felt, practically inviting her to lie down and rest. The air within this natural sanctuary was filled with gently floating lights, reminiscent of fireflies but more ethereal, casting a warm, golden glow over everything. As Elara stood there, marveling at the beauty around her, she felt the accumulated stress and worry of her long journey begin to melt away. Her eyelids grew heavy, and the moss beneath the willow seemed to call to her, promising rest and rejuvenation. Just as she was about to give in to the urge to lie down, a movement at the edge of her vision caught her attention. Turning, she saw a figure emerging from the shadows between the willow's roots, a tall, elegant being that seemed to be made of moonlight and starshine. Chapter 2: The Guardian of Dreams. The figure that approached Elara was unlike any being she had ever encountered. Tall and lithe, with skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner radiance, the being moved with a grace that spoke of timelessness and power. Long, silvery hair cascaded down its back like a waterfall of moonlight, and its eyes were pools of deep wisdom that seemed to hold the secrets of the universe within their depths. As the being drew closer, Elara felt no fear, only a sense of profound peace and wonder. There was something both ancient and eternally young about this creature, as if it had witnessed the birth of stars yet maintained the joy and curiosity of a child. "Welcome, Elara." The being spoke, its voice a melody that seemed to resonate with the very essence of the glade. "I am Nymira, guardian of dreams and keeper of this sacred place. You have traveled far, and your heart carries many burdens. Here, in the Enchanted Glade, you may find the rest and renewal you seek." Elara found herself captivated by Nymira's presence. "Thank you," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. I'm not sure how I found this place, or even what I was looking for, but something tells me this is exactly where I need to be." Nymira's smile was radiant, filled with understanding and compassion. "The Enchanted Glade calls to those who need it most, Elara. It is a sanctuary for weary souls, a place where dreams take flight and the magic of the world is revealed to those with open hearts." As Nymira spoke, Elara felt the last of her apprehension melt away. The guardian's presence was comforting, like a warm embrace on a cold night. "Come," Nymira said, extending a hand that seemed to glow with soft starlight. "Let me show you the wonders of this place. There is much healing to be found here, if you are willing to open yourself to the magic." Elara nodded, placing her hand in Nymira's. The touch was warm and electric, sending a gentle tingle up her arm and throughout her body. It felt as if she was connecting not just with Nymira, but with the very essence of the glade itself. Together, they stepped out from beneath the willow tree and into the open glade. The bioluminescent flowers seemed to glow brighter as they passed, as if greeting them or offering their own form of welcome. "These are the dream blossoms," Nymira explained, gesturing to the glowing flora. "They bloom only at night, releasing a mist that eases troubled minds and soothes weary souls. Breathe deeply, Elara, and let their essence wash over you." Elara did as instructed, inhaling the sweet, slightly spicy scent of the flowers. Almost immediately, she felt a sense of calm settle over her, as if her worries were being gently lifted away. As they walked, Nymira pointed out other wonders of the glade. There were crystal formations that hummed with soft, harmonic tones when touched, their music blending with the babbling of the stream to create a natural symphony. Luminescent mushrooms grew in fairy rings, their caps changing colors in a slow, hypnotic dance. They paused by a small pond, its surface as still and reflective as a mirror. "This is the mirror pool," Nymira said softly. "It shows not just your reflection, but glimpses of your deepest desires and happiest memories. Look into its waters, Elara, and see the truth of your heart." With a mixture of curiosity and trepidation, Elara approached the pool's edge and gazed into its depths. At first, she saw only her own reflection, but then the image began to ripple and change. She saw herself as a child, laughing and carefree, playing in a sun-dappled meadow. The scene shifted, and she saw moments of joy and triumph from her life. Times when she had overcome obstacles, moments of connection with loved ones, instances of pure, unadulterated happiness that she had almost forgotten. Tears welled up in Elara's eyes as she watched these scenes play out. It was as if the pool was reminding her of all the good in her life, all the strength and resilience she possessed. "The mirror pool shows us what we often forget," Nymira said gently, placing a comforting hand on Elara's shoulder. "It reminds us of the light within us, even when we feel surrounded by darkness." As they moved on, Elara noticed movement among the trees. Graceful, ethereal creatures emerged from the shadows, deer with coats that shimmered like moonlight on water, their antlers adorned with softly glowing flowers. "The moonlit deer," Nymira introduced them. "They are guardians of this place, bringers of comfort and peace. Their presence is a blessing, a sign that you are truly welcome here." One of the deer approached Elara, its liquid eyes filled with gentle intelligence. It bowed its head, allowing her to stroke its soft fur. The simple act of connection with this magical creature filled Elara with a sense of warmth and belonging. As they continued their tour of the glade, Nymira shared more of its secrets. There were ancient stones carved with runes that glowed with inner light, telling stories of ages past. Ethereal butterflies with wings like stained glass flitted from flower to flower, leaving trails of sparkling dust in their wake. With each new wonder, Elara felt her spirit lifting, the burdens she had carried for so long becoming lighter. The magic of the Enchanted Glade was working its way into her very being, reminding her of the beauty and wonder that existed in the world. Chapter 3: Healing Dreams. As the night deepened, Nymira led Elara back to the great willow tree at the center of the glade. The space beneath its branches seemed even more inviting now, the moss-covered ground practically beckoning her to rest. "It is time for you to sleep, Elara," Nymira said softly. "But this will be no ordinary slumber. Here, in the heart of the Enchanted Glade, your dreams will have the power to heal and transform. Are you ready?" Elara nodded, suddenly aware of how tired she truly was, not just physically but emotionally and spiritually as well. The thought of true, restful sleep was incredibly appealing. "Lie down," Nymira instructed, gesturing to the soft moss. "Make yourself comfortable, and let the magic of this place wash over you." Elara did as she was told, settling onto the moss. It was softer than any bed she had ever known, seeming to cradle her body perfectly. Above her, the twinkling lights among the willow's leaves danced in soothing patterns, like a lullaby for the eyes. Nymira knelt beside her, placing a cool hand on Elara's forehead. "Close your eyes," the guardian whispered, "and listen to the song of the glade." As Elara's eyes fluttered shut, she became aware of a melody that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It was in the rustling of the leaves, the babbling of the stream, the soft breathing of the moonlit deer, and the gentle humming of the crystal formations. All these sounds blended together into a harmony more beautiful than anything she had ever heard. Nymira began to sing, her voice weaving through the natural symphony of the glade. The words were in no language Elara recognized, yet somehow she understood their meaning. It was a song of renewal, of hope, of the eternal cycle of growth and rebirth. As the music washed over her, Elara felt herself drifting into a deep, peaceful sleep. Her breathing slowed, and the tensions she had carried in her body for so long finally released. In her dreams, Elara found herself floating among the stars. She was weightless, free from all burdens, surrounded by the vast beauty of the cosmos. Streams of stardust flowed around her, and she could hear the music of the spheres, a grander version of the Glade's symphony. The dream shifted, and she was walking through a sun-dappled forest. The trees whispered encouragement as she passed, their leaves brushing against her in gentle caresses. She came to a clearing where a great, ancient tree stood. Its trunk was carved with symbols that told the story of her life, her joys, her sorrows, her triumphs, and her struggles. As she touched the trunk, the carved symbols began to glow. She felt a surge of energy flow through her, filling her with strength and resolve. The tree was showing her the sum of her experiences, reminding her of the wisdom she had gained and the strength she possessed. The dream changed again, and Elara found herself standing on a high cliff overlooking a vast ocean. The wind whipped around her, invigorating and wild. Far below, she could see the waves crashing against the rocks, their rhythm steady and eternal. A great bird soared past her, its wings nearly brushing her face, and she felt an urge to spread her own arms wide. As she did so, she realized she could fly. With a leap of faith, she soared out over the ocean, reveling in the freedom and exhilaration of flight. The air currents cradled her, the sun warmed her skin, and she laughed with pure joy. Throughout the night, Elara's dreams took her on a journey through magical realms and fantastical experiences. She danced with creatures of living flame, their movements igniting passion and creativity within her. She dove deep into oceans of liquid starlight, where wise, ancient beings shared secrets of the universe. In each dream, she faced challenges that reflected the obstacles in her waking life. But here, in the realm of dreams, she found new perspectives and solutions. She discovered reserves of strength, wisdom, and courage that she had forgotten she possessed. As the night wore on, the dreams became gentler, soothing. Elara found herself in a beautiful garden, surrounded by flowers of every color imaginable. The air was filled with their sweet fragrance, and the soft buzzing of bees created a peaceful ambience. Here, She encountered people from her past, loved ones she had lost, friends she had parted ways with, even strangers who had shown her kindness in fleeting moments. Each interaction brought healing, allowing her to express things left unsaid, to forgive and be forgiven, to remember the love and connections that had shaped her life. And the final dream of the night, Elara stood once again beneath the great willow tree in the Enchanted Glade. But now she saw the tree with new eyes. Its branches were not just draped with leaves and lights, but with the threads of countless stories, her own, and those of all who had come to this place seeking renewal. Nymira appeared beside her, radiant and smiling. "You have journeyed far in the realm of dreams, Elara," the guardian said. "What have you learned?" Elara thought for a moment, feeling the profound changes that had occurred within her. "I've learned that I am stronger than I knew," she replied. "That the challenges I've faced have shaped me, but do not define me. I've remembered the joy and wonder that exist in the world, and in myself." Nymira nodded, pleased. "These are powerful truths, Elara. Carry them with you as you return to the waking world. Remember, the magic of the Enchanted Glade is always within you, a sanctuary you can return to in your heart whenever you need it." With these words, Elara felt herself gently rising back to consciousness, the dream fading like mist in the morning sun. Chapter 4. Awakening to Wonder. As the first light of dawn began to filter through the leaves of the willow tree, Elara slowly opened her eyes. For a moment, she lay still, savoring the profound sense of peace and renewal that filled her entire being. The moss beneath her was as soft as a cloud, and the air around her was filled with the sweet scent of the dream blossoms. Sitting up, Elara noticed that the glade looked different in the early morning light. The bioluminescent flowers had closed their petals, but in their place, dewdrops sparkled on every surface, refracting the dawn's rays into tiny rainbows. The stream burbled with renewed energy, its waters catching the light and shimmering like liquid gold. Nymira stood nearby, her form seeming to shimmer in the interplay of fading starlight and growing dawn. The guardian's smile was warm and knowing, filled with the quiet joy of one who has witnessed a profound transformation. "Good morning, Elara," Nymira said, her voice as melodious as ever. "How do you feel?" Elara took a moment to consider the question, realizing that she felt different. The weariness that had weighed her down for so long was gone, replaced by a lightness of spirit she had almost forgotten was possible. Her mind felt clear, her heart open, and her body refreshed as if she had slept for 100 years and awakened to a world made new. "I feel renewed," Elara replied, her voice filled with wonder, "as if I've been washed clean and filled with light. Is this the magic of the Enchanted Glade?" Nymira's laugh was like the tinkling of crystal bells. "The glade's magic is powerful indeed, but what you feel is the awakening of your own inner light. The Enchanted Glade merely provided the space for you to remember your true self." As Elara stood, she noticed something remarkable. The clothes she had worn, travel-stained and worn thin from her long journey, had been transformed. She now wore a gown that seemed to be woven from moonlight and starshine, flowing around her like water and shimmering with every movement. "The glade has gifted you with a reminder of your night here," Nymira explained, noticing Elara's wonder at her new attire. "This gown is imbued with the essence of your healing dreams. When you wear it, you will always be able to connect with the peace you have found here." Elara ran her hands over the fabric, marveling at its ethereal texture. "Thank you," she breathed, feeling overwhelmed with gratitude. "For everything." Nymira inclined her head gracefully. "You are most welcome, Elara. But remember, the greatest thanks you can give is to carry the lessons and the light you have found here out into the world. Share your renewed spirit with others, and let the magic of the Enchanted Glade spread through your actions and your love." As the sun rose higher, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Elara knew it was time for her to leave. As much as part of her wished to stay in this magical place forever, she understood that her journey was not meant to end here. Instead, it was beginning anew, with fresh purpose and a lighter heart. Nymira led Elara to the edge of the glade, where the whispering trees of the forest beckoned. "Before you go," the guardian said, There is one last gift the glade wishes to bestow upon you. From seemingly nowhere, Nymira produced a small, crystal vial filled with softly glowing liquid. This is the essence of the dream blossoms, she explained. A single drop on your pillow will help you reconnect with the peace you have found here, and may guide you back to the enchanted glade in your dreams. Use it wisely, and only when you truly need it. Elara accepted the vial with reverence, carefully tucking it into a pocket of her star-spun gown. I will treasure it always, she promised. As she prepared to step back into the forest, Elara turned to Nymira one last time. Will I ever see you again? She asked, realizing how much the guardian's gentle guidance had meant to her. Nymira's smile was mysterious and knowing. The enchanted glade exists for those who need it most. If your path should ever lead you back here, I will be waiting. But remember, Elara, the true magic lies not in this place, but within your own heart. Nurture it, and you will find wonder and enchantment wherever you go. With a final, grateful nod, Elara stepped into the forest. As she walked away from the glade, she could hear the trees whispering encouragement, their leaves rustling in a symphony of farewell and good wishes. The moonlit deer watched from the shadows, their gentle eyes filled with silent blessings. Though she left the enchanted glade behind, Elara carried its magic with her. In the shimmering fabric of her gown, in the crystal vial tucked close to her heart, and most importantly, in the renewed spirit that shone from within her. She faced the path ahead not with trepidation, but with joy and anticipation for the wonders each new day might bring. As Elara journeyed on, she found that the world seemed brighter, more vivid than before. Colors were richer, scents more fragrant, and the song of birds more melodious. She realized that the magic of the enchanted glade had not just healed her for a night, but had awakened her senses to the everyday magic that existed all around her. In the days and weeks that followed, Elara shared her newfound joy with everyone she met. Her smile brought light to weary travelers, her kind words soothed troubled hearts, and her stories of hope and wonder inspired those who had lost their way. Without realizing it, she had become a bearer of the glade's magic, spreading its healing influence far and wide. And on quiet nights, when the moon was full and the stars twinkled brightly, Elara would sometimes catch a faint whisper on the breeze, a distant melody that reminded her of Nymira's song. In those moments, she would close her eyes and smile, knowing that the enchanted glade was not just a place, but a state of being that she could return to whenever she needed, simply by looking within her own heart. As she drifted off to sleep each night, whether in a soft bed or beneath the open sky, Elara carried with her the peace and wonder of the enchanted glade. Her dreams were filled with stardust and possibility, and she awakened each morning ready to embrace the magic of a new day. And so, dear listener, as you close your eyes and prepare for sleep, remember the tale of Elara and the enchanted glade. Let it remind you of the magic that exists in the world and within yourself. May your dreams be filled with wonder, your heart with peace, and your spirit with the joy of endless possibility. Sleep well, and may you always find your way to your own enchanted glade whenever you need it most.